Hello,
Dave.
hello, Sean.
How are you?
I'm not bad. For those of you out there watching, I know that Gwen was in the promotional video, but unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, we have Sean, which Gwen's gonna kill me for this, and it's fine. I have a much better looking co-host today.
Well, I don't know. She's got a little more hair than me, and I think she's a little more prettier than I am. But
Yeah, but I like the beard.
all right, I'll give you that one. I'll give you
so
that
how
one.
so how you doing tonight, brother?
I'm doing good. The next event I got coming up will be the Roadhouse, the Rock Island Roadhouse.
Oh, nice, nice. That's awesome. Tonight, guys, we have a very awesome show lined up for the second show on the Wicked Wednesday block. I'm so used to saying third show, but it's the second show of the Wicked Wednesday block. Um, we also have a special guest co-host. So if we could, please welcome our special guest co-host, Morgan Caldwell.
Here we go. There's
Hi.
Morgan.
What's going on, Morgan?
Nothing. I'm a little disturbed to hear you like beards, though.
Look. What me and Sean do in mine and Sean's time is mine and Sean's business, okay?
I'm just saying, I learned something new today. That's all.
I was a little shocked about that myself, Morgan, but we'll go with it.
Look, you gotta laugh and have a good time on these shows. If you don't, they're boring. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but anyways, thank you so much, Morgan, for coming on and co-hosting tonight. So what's everyone got going on, Morgan? What you got going on?
Currently nothing. Coming up, we have that thing in September
Yep,
at the Browse House.
The Hauntings in the North at Browse House.
Yep. So just busy crafting for that.
What are you making for it, though?
Little trolls that look like this. I call them little crystal creatures. And then I don't have any of my wands near me, but then I also do the selenite wrapped wands with different crystals.
Nice. And for anyone out there who's willing or is thinking about attending the Hauntings in the North Paracon, it's put on by SVC Paranormal, or SVC Explorers of the Unknown, as I know them. And we're doing a raffle basket. Giving one of my books away to them to put in the raffle basket. Morgan is giving one of her trolls and one of her selenite wands to go in the raffle basket as well.
Yep.
So
Cool.
It's going to be a fun event. But enough about us, because tonight we have a great guest on, and I've been looking forward to having this guy on because I met him for the first time, I think, at the Paranormal Rockdown event, which actually weird I'm wearing that shirt, at the Broadhead Manor there in Broadhead, Wisconsin. Amazing dude, funny guy. I enjoyed talking to him. I enjoyed his company. And tonight we have on the Urban Investigator, Mr. Vince Kelien. Hello, Vince.
We have no sound. I hear nothing.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Hold
no.
on.
You might need to restart and jump back in.
If we have to restart and jump back in, we can.
Well, I mean him.
Okay, someone, I'll send him a message real quick. Hang on, everybody.
Well, Morgan, show me that troll again. Did you make... Doesn't
Yeah,
have
so-
any hair in it, does it?
Well, this
No,
is
so
so
it's
much
got
fun.
like imitation moss, and then it's
Ah.
got different crystals. So this one has selenite and rose quartz and clear quartz,
Cool.
but they're all different.
That's neat.
Yeah. This was one of my first ones. This one's for me. The other ones I've changed my techniques a bit, but that one I actually brought with me to Broadhead
Ah.
and brought it home.
It doesn't have those fuzzy heads, you know, or you can go like this and they'll poof out on you.
Yeah, no, it doesn't have those. It's got a fun like texture to it, like for people that like fidget with things. I've noticed
Mhm.
people who buy them, they like to play with the hair.
Cool.
Well, look, I'm hoping we get Vince's connection back. But if we don't, you know what? We're gonna make the best of the show that we got. So,
Hopefully he'll get back in. He said it was a sound problem.
yeah.
I don't think
So
he could hear.
I sent him a message, told him to jump out, jump back in. Sometimes that happens. Anyone out there who is watching this show that has never done a podcast gremlins are a real thing.
Oh yeah.
They be
For sure.
happening. A few shows ago, I had on Samaya Eldorath, and I had nothing but an echo, and it's the only show I have ever had an echo.
Here we go. Now does he?
Here?
We're good.
There we go.
We're good.
Perfect.
Awesome.
If I was
So,
if I was at home on my desktop, none of this would be happening.
it's okay, brother, man. Look, we call it podcast gremlins. It's okay. So, first and foremost, people for people who are not familiar with you, Vince, could you tell us a little bit about your background and what you do in the paranormal?
Um, I do ghost hunting like the rest of everybody else, but I'm more on the preservation and restoration side of history with asylums and sanatoriums, hospitals, sanitariums, things of that nature. I enjoy the history a little bit more than I do talking to ghosts, or who we presume is someone that is no longer with us. Um, my favorite tools are my eyes and my ears. I'm not a huge I'm not really big into the demon narrative. Um, I first got my start working at Waverly Hills Sanatorium back in 2010. I've worked there on and off since 2010. Um, I don't currently work there. I'm far too busy. But I travel the country exploring abandoned and haunted locations.
Awesome. So, about your time at Waverly Hills, like it is one of the most prolific haunted places in the United States.
Hmm.
Like it is on, I feel like everyone's bucket list.
Sure, it should
So,
be.
during your time there, did you have an experience that kind of made you realize, hey, this is for real? I'm not just working at an abandoned building. There's something weird going on here.
So right when Facebook was introduced to the general public and not just college students, um, I had seen an ad for for their annual haunted house, and that was what I utilized my way to get up there and actually start working. Um, and so I'm helping. I started there as a haunt actor, but a lot of the haunt actors, they help put the haunt together during the year, towards the end of the tour season and everything else. So um I was just there for the aesthetic at the time. I loved the way the building looked. I liked the darkness and the mystery that was wrapped around it and everything else. And so it's full on stripper mode. I'm 5 o'clock in the afternoon on a Kentucky August afternoon. It's hot, shirts off, tool belts on, and I'm ready to go home. So I pack up my tools and I start heading down the hallway, go out the glass staircase, set the alarm, walk outside, and I get out to the back parking lot and I start hearing what sounds like a dodgeball hitting concrete. So I turned around, I looked up at the building, and for anyone who's familiar with Waverly, you know the layout. A red dodgeball comes bouncing out of the fourth floor solarium and bounces down into the neighborhood. I left my shit in the parking lot and trunk wide open and took off down the hill. I get down to the gate, and this was back in the day. The owner had a cylinder, a long cylinder gate that you had to open back and forth. And I actually hit the hood of my car with it, because I was terrified. I finally get it off, and when I start to walk back to the car, that same red dodgeball is coming down the driveway,
Oh,
with laughing coming from the top of the hill.
Oh wow.
Um, Now, could it have been trespassers? Sure. But someone is not getting from the fourth floor all the way down and then going into the neighborhood, grabbing the ball, bringing it back up the hill, and then running to the top of the driveway just to throw it down at me again. It's not
Right.
possible.
yeah, not that quickly, no.
Um, could someone have been stationed at different places? Sure, but highly unlikely. Um, so I called the owner. I'm like, hey, look, sorry the gate's wide open. I know you are coming back for dinner. I actually passed them on the way out. I wasn't stopping. It wasn't going to happen. Um, so I told them I'd be back in the morning and I would explain to them what happened. And when I got up there, they was like, well, are you going to be a baby about it or are you going to stick around? Basically saying that they thought I was like initiated, I guess. So that started a really long on and off decade of ridiculousness throughout my entire through my entirety at Waverly. Um, but that was my first experience. Now I had one when I was a kid, but I chalked it up to being like a um, in what do we call it? An imaginary friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So until I got into it and started seeing things a little bit more clear, I always chalked that situation up to an imaginary friend. But that was my first like dive into the paranormal and figuring out who that I was talking to. That there were people to talk to that weren't there to begin with.
Fair, fair. So Waverly Hills has this lore about it, right? As far as,
Mhm.
and I'm just curious if you have ever had in your tenure there an experience with this. I am told on the third floor or the second floor they have this creature known as the creep.
So I'm going to tell you what I tell everybody. Um, is that if you have a building that's haunted, it's not one particular place. It's the building. I've been in every inch, every nook, every cranny of that building. I've been underneath the building in chases to clean them out.
Right.
I've been in every single part of that building that's possible. Um, and the creeper is not just for the second, third floor. It's wherever the entity decides that it wants to go. From my experience, I don't believe that the creeper is demonic. I don't believe it's evil. I think it's a really fit teenager.
Okay. I was gonna ask. So I was gonna ask if you had an experience with it, or
Um,
if you thought it was maybe like an egregore or a thought form that people have imprinted that energy so much into the building that now that entity now exists.
like a tulpa.
Yes.
Um, so I've never, I mean, when we sit down and we do Estes and we do recordings and stuff, we don't know who we're talking to
True.
ever. It's not, um, when people think about everyday life today, what do people do? They lie, they cheat, they steal, they're happy, they're sad, they're good, they're bad, they're murderers, they're con artists, they're everything that you can possibly, it's a human thing. And I like to believe that when you pass on, if you're sticking around, I like to think you take those traits with you
Hmm.
That's fair.
Definitely.
That's fair.
Yeah.
because we're just essentially we're just a meat suit.
That's
Exactly.
that.
Um,
I don't like being referred to as a meat suit, but it's true.
well,
Yeah.
you know, um, so I like to think that we take a bit of our personality with us, if not all of it. And I'm still waiting for I'm still waiting for the it's Britney bitch to come over in EVP, um,
That would be
but
so amazing.
dude, I'm pretty sure the growls and stuff that we hear is like dinosaurs.
It wouldn't
It
shock
could
me.
be.
We don't hear enough about it. And then if you're in an abandoned building or in any kind of haunted location and you hear a rumble and you're nowhere near Fort Knox or you're nowhere near a military base, it's probably because there's a T-Rex.
I'm here for it.
I'm totally joking, but it's funny to think about.
But you know what though?
um
You might be joking, but it's not beyond the realm of plausibility. Because
no,
people
it's
people
not.
encounter spirit animals all the time.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
But it's also very interesting that you think the creeper's a teenager, because I've been telling Nate I have this theory that I've been thinking of, that shadow people, creepers, crawlers, they're all just human spirits. They're just taking on different shapes, whether it's because they have memories of them that are lost, so they don't remember their true identity, so they're coming more as a shadow form. And it's so interesting that you say that, because most people don't think that they're actual human spirits. They always think it's something else.
um this this isn't The Conjuring, right? It's not a Hollywood, it's not a Hollywood makeup.
Hmm.
When I tell this to people all the time. If when a, when a Hollywood studio says this is based on, that means it's loosely based.
Based.
No one's levitating. No
Yeah.
one's let's be realistic. This isn't The Conjuring. And that's not debunking anything about the Conjuring house. I don't want to even get into that,
Fair.
um, but it's not. That's not what you experience. It's a between the four of us, Sean, Nate, Morgan, you've never been levitated.
Nope.
Not to my knowledge.
You ever been hit in the face by someone who wasn't there?
I actually have.
Like
to the
full
back of
on,
the face.
I've been touched.
like full on, like Roman Reigns.
I had a
No.
black eye the next day.
Okay, did you feel it?
I did. My head instantly turned.
He's extremely skeptical, though. You were with your team, weren't
Okay.
you?
And that's fine.
Okay.
I'm full for it. I'm here for it.
It's probably more jealousy on my end because I ain't never experienced that. So,
I can
So
tell
just
you
walk
that
into a place and be like, "Hit me, bitches." I'm here
it was
for it.
No.
completely unexpected.
No,
And
you
at a
never
place-
want to antagonize it.
I was joking. I know.
No, it was completely unexpected, and at a place that was unexpected. I took my team out and we investigated this small location. Nothing happened the whole night. Like
Yeah.
literally nothing happened the whole night. We go home and we're kind of discussing, well, we got to go over video, we got to go over audio and all that good stuff. And I feel this sharp pain here, and my head instantly turned. I'm like, what the hell was that? I'm looking around, and I was like, did someone just hit me? And they're like, no, none of us. I woke up the next day and had a black eye.
the group of people, one of them like swung on you and you didn't even know it. It was like,
look,
haha.
I'm not saying that's not plausible because I wasn't looking. It's possible.
Yeah. That's that's the debunker in me. But here's the thing about
I gotta say something real quick about the shadow people here before we go a little farther, because like Morgan said, depending on what they are, they come in different forms. But some of the things that I've come across with the shadow people, they could actually be somebody from your past or your future trying to let you know something as well. That's the ones I've kind of encountered because they're not all evil either.
So I've only, some of you may have seen it earlier on last year. This year, my good friend David passed away.
Yes.
And David was a priest. So this is going to be really funny for a lot of people, and I'm sure the Catholic jokes are going to come out. But David was gay and was a priest, listened to metal, and also worked at a haunted location.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm just every time I say that, a Catholic gay joke comes out somewhere. But he was, if not my best friend, and I've seen videos that he has analyzed that have come from different areas that was due like for modern day exorcism, which they don't film.
Right.
They don't film, but they do. It's just not public.
Correct.
It's not for public consumption. It's for analyzation. It's for them to figure out what they're dealing with type of situation. I've never really understood it. And when I found the file on the computer, it's he told me a million times never to open that file, and I ended up doing it anyway. And I saw things on there that's absolutely unexplainable. It's not something that I'm like comfortable talking about, but like all the stuff that you see for all these crazy movies and everything is exactly what it was.
That's insane.
But I think the most predominant, what Sean was talking about with shadow figures, the most predominant piece of evidence that I ever saw, and it wasn't evidence, it was just me, it was my eyes, in any location, was at Waverly. Louisville went through an EF5 tornado in 2012, 13, 14, something along those lines. And we're still giving tours. We're used to it. It's everything dissipates when it hits the hill. Everything, every single time. I've watched a tornado coming at the building, and it just disappears, and then ends up
Really?
on the other side. It ends up on the other side of the hill.
So it was a jumper.
No, it disappeared.
That's crazy.
Like it dissipated and reformed on the other side.
That's crazy.
And so we're giving tours. It's late, and we get into the public. And so basically, how they run, they do three ghost tours, and then they have their public, and the public's 12 to 6. And I got some people up on the third, fourth floor, and lightning struck, and there was no one in front of me. Everyone was behind me. We were doing the shadow figure experiment where we have someone walk down the hallway, see if we can get shadows to interact with the person that's walking.
Right.
And no one's in front of me. I haven't sent no one down yet. Lightning struck, and there was about 50 people sitting in front of me.
Interesting.
Lightning will light up the building everywhere. If you've ever been to an open monstrosity like Waverly, you've seen it happen before. But 50 people in front of me, no jokes, no nothing. Couldn't see through the black figures that I was seeing, and even though you couldn't see facial features, you couldn't see clothes, you could feel that all of them were staring at you. And every single person, which was about 12 people, saw what I saw.
I mean, so you have correlation to go with it.
Yeah. But you could feel, like, even though you couldn't see their facial features, couldn't see their eyes, you could see them looking, you could feel them staring at you. And but it wasn't like gross. It was like, oh, friends, yay, there's people up here to hang out with us.
Right.
Or maybe it was like a nightly meeting where they're like, are y'all ready to clock in? I don't, we don't know what we're dealing with. We don't know who we talk to, so we don't know really how it works. But it could be like Beetlejuice for all we know. But experiences with shadow people at Waverly are unlike anything I've ever seen, and I've been to a little over 400 locations.
Yeah, and I would love to visit Waverly. It has been on my bucket list for the last 18 years, and I've not yet had a chance to visit. The story that you're just talking about reminds me of a story that I read about at a place in Missouri called Zombie Road, where if you walk down Zombie Road and if you're during a thunderstorm, lightning flashes, you can see figures standing in the woods.
It doesn't shock me.
You know they're there. They don't interact, but they're just watching you.
Yeah.
And that is crazy to me because, well, it's crazy to me because I've never experienced it.
Sure.
I'm not saying it's crazy that it didn't happen because I'm sure it did.
Right. And that's what I was saying before, is that I used to be that guy that was always like, well, I mean, you saw me when you said that you got punched in the face, and I was like,
oh yeah.
It doesn't matter what I think, because it's what you can prove in court.
If I could find the photo, Vince, I'll send it to you. There is actually a photograph of my black eye the next day.
No, I'm not even saying that. What I'm saying is that you can't debunk somebody else's experience because you weren't there.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. 100%.
I don't know if anyone has been on the rally with debunkers in the last however long, but for some reason debunkers think that they can use other people for clout that have big names, and call them names and be nasty to each other. And there's been a lot of that going on in the paranormal here recently. Yeah. Because here's the fact of the matter: for anyone who debunks online, you're not there. And that's also not like I'm not like going to bat for like Sam and Colby or Twin Paranormal or anything like that. I've met all those guys. They're all nice people. I've met a bunch of them. But you're not there with that group. You're not there with those people. You can't debunk something when you weren't there.
I agree with that 1,000% because that's what I do on my TikTok. Is I go through and I don't debunk videos.
Yeah.
I offer plausible alternative explanations. I wasn't there. I can't say that what I'm saying is what happened.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that's why at the end of every video I say, well, this is just my opinion.
Sure.
Please tell me what you think.
Yeah.
Because I'm not
Why-
trying to debunk nobody. I'm just trying to offer alternative explanations compared to what I see.
Sure. That wasn't. It wasn't a jab at you.
No, I know. I wasn't taking it that way. I was just explaining.
That's kind of one of the reasons when I do a live investigation, everybody can chime in. If they see something that they can't explain, we go back and look at it. We debunk it right there on the spot, because that saves a lot of editing and a lot of hassle for going back. And I don't like to edit stuff. And what I see is what you see.
Right.
So, go ahead, Vince.
No, you're good.
You sound kind of hoarse, brother. You sound like you've been talking a lot.
I've had a long couple weeks.
I know you've been traveling, man. You've been everywhere.
Well, this is probably still like ISS. For anyone who's never been there,
How was that event?
Oh, it was great, but the second you walk into ISS, you can taste the air.
That's crazy.
And it's not kind to your throat. It's not kind to any of your sinuses. I know that Nate does like blue collar work. Sean, you look like you do blue collar work.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever gotten in the shower and you do one of these in the shower and everything's just black.
Oh yeah.
From mortar or caulking or anything like that, concrete cutting, anything. That's what happens every time that you leave ISS.
Yeah, grind on some zinc coated material without a face mask. Yeah,
Yep.
Trust me. But so Vince, there's a funny story that I have that I want, without calling names out. When we saw each other at Broadhead last year, and when you first saw me, you walked by, you shook my hand and said, "Hey, I got to talk to you outside real quick." Very polite. Would you mind telling that story, because I find it hilarious.
So, for the last year and a half, there was someone who was in my comments. There was this guy that was in my comments that had something derogatory or negative to say on anything and everything that I posted. He always had something. And it was always like condescending or snarky, smart ass, whatever you want to call it. And I had saw this flyer for an event, and I mixed up the name Nathaniel Elwell with the other person. And I've been telling somebody that for like the last year to never book me with this person, because I never wanted to be associated. I never wanted to ever see this person in person. I didn't care to. He was a negative leech onto my like soul. He latched onto me for whatever reason, and everything was negative all the time. And I'm not about it. And so I do this. So I get paired up with this event with this Nathaniel Elwell. And I'm a little upset about it. I'm a little pissed off. And I call the promoter and I'm just like, "Hey, man, this is, I told you specifically." And he was like, "No, you didn't." And he was like, "You never said nothing like that. You said it about this guy." And then I had to look the other guy up. I was like, "Oh, that was the other guy." So I was talking shit mad for like a year and a half straight. And so basically, and when I've done something wrong, I'm somebody who wants to admit it. I want to talk to you about it. I want to tell you what happened. I want to tell you the mix up. And even it doesn't matter what it was that I did wrong. I'm just that kind of person. And so I had pulled Nate outside, and I was just like, "Hey, man, for the last year and a half, I've hated you." And he was like, "What?"
I had no idea what I had done.
And he was like, "What did I do?" And I was like, No, it's not like that. Let me tell you the story. So for like a year and a half, 2 years, I had two people mixed up that shouldn't have ever even seen the same sun together.
But you know what, man? Mistakes happen, and I couldn't do nothing but laugh about it.
Um,
If
just don't start wearing flat bill hats. We'll be fine.
I don't wear flat bill hats at all, and yeah, no, this is my style. Like I like a little bit of curve here. I don't, but so I thought that was honestly first and foremost, I commend you for pulling me outside and apologizing.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people wouldn't have done that; they just would have ignored it. So I give
Well,
you
yeah.
your commendation for that, and I respect you for that. And as far as the mix-up, you know what? I'm not gonna lie.
I'm so waiting for the butt.
No. As far as the mix-up goes, I find that shit hilarious. Like it doesn't bother me whatsoever.
All right.
But I do appreciate the apology as far as like, you know what you did at Broadhead. Like I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I thought it would be a funny story to tell here because simply sometimes mix-ups happen, and
Yeah.
people don't realize that there's a lot of people in the paranormal community, right? And sometimes these
It
things,
wasn't a good mix up.
but that's okay. Sometimes things happen.
It was not a good mix up.
But it got resolved, so
But it got resolved, and we're
Yeah.
at where we're at now. And you're on my show, and brother, let me tell you, I respect you.
Well, I respect you too. Are we going to cuddle or
I mean, if you want to.
I draw the line at making out. You can't do that. I'm just saying.
Oh man, it's bad I can't move them around. I can put them right next to each other, but I can't switch the glasses.
So shifting gears here. So you've been in this for a little bit over a decade, right, Vince?
Mhm.
So, in
Going on
hundreds
two.
Do what?
going on too?
Going on two.
Mhm.
So, in the hundreds of locations that you have visited, have you ever visited a location where you had that what I like to call the oh shit moment? Like the moment where something happened that you just didn't expect to happen, but it kind of made you jump out of your skin.
I was just there today.
Oh,
So I'm sure a lot of you know have seen me post about Hudson River State Hospital in Poughkeepsie, New York,
yep.
and saw how devastated I was when someone decided to set it on fire a couple months ago.
Oh
No
wow!
shit.
Um, I actually posted about it tonight. I almost got locked up today. Um,
Why was someone
they
set it on fire? Is my question.
oh well,
Okay, fair. Sorry, wasn't trying to interrupt. Just
no,
the
you're
question
good.
popped in.
No, you're good. It's all about this all the time. Um, but so I'm sitting outside at the shop, right? So Hudson River State Hospital used to have a lot more buildings than what they do now, and there was a big giant psychiatric center that's right where the shop right is, right next to it now. And the foreman for the project built the shop right and built all these other buildings. There's like a Burger King there, all kinds of different stuff. They've taken windows from the building, powder coated them, put them around on the buildings, and have little pieces of like history memorabilia next to the windows and stuff like that.
Mhm.
That building wasn't going to stand the test of time, so they tore it down, and that sucks. But unfortunately, that's what needed to happen. So, still trying to preserve and restore, they put out those powder coated windows and made them look nice and put them up as little placards and stuff like that. And so so I was out there today, and because I hadn't been there since the fire, and I wanted to get some drone shots, and also wanted to see Skylar, quiet, Skylar, stop it. But so And I was, if I'm being honest, I was scoping out to see what security was like today. And by no means, if you're in the New York area or you plan on going to the New York area, this location needs to be off your list. It does not need to be on it.
Noted.
They have motion sensor cameras on every single square foot of the building. They have their own drones in the air looking for people. And they have security guards placed at every single entrance in cars that are moving consistently.
That's
It's not
crazy.
It's not the way it used to be. It's really funny that they waited for the building to get set on fire to actually care about it. Because now they've mowed the grass and cut and took the bush hog in and knocked everything out and everything else, so now they can see everything. um and part of that kind of really makes me mad because it took you this long. You waited for a fire to care about
It
preservation and
shouldn't have taken that
restoration.
long.
um but so anyway, I'm up there, whatever, and this guy in this red truck, which this is like a legend because this guy's been there for a decade, watching over this place, pulls up and he was like, "You better get the fuck out of here." And I'm just like, I'm not even in there. I'm in the ShopRite parking lot. I'm not doing anything illegal. And and to which he was like, "Well, you better get out of here or they're gonna lock you up." And I was like, For
What?
what? For what exactly? Now I'm this is just me trying to sound like a Billy badass. How it actually went was, "Yes, sir, I'll get out of here, sir." Um, but I wasn't on the property. I just had the drone in the air taking shots and stuff. But I'm not about like the drama. I don't want to get locked up. I'm not made for prison. I would definitely be somebody's bitch. I'm not about it.
Same.
But I feel like I could hold my own, but I would go down fighting, but I would definitely go down. Um, but so that guy was like, they were threatening to lock me up and everything else, so I had to leave. But the first time I had ever I went with some friends, and we split up for a little bit. And I was walking down this long corridor, and I felt a hand reach up and grab my hand, and it felt like my daughter's hand. And
Interesting.
so I'm in Poughkeepsie. I'm in Salt Point right now, which is 25-30 minutes away from the asylum. And when I went, my this is where my daughter lives. So um, I had a million things went through my mind because did she get in the car and I didn't, and I just didn't know. um and not that this would ever happen, but did her mom not see her like follow me out?
Right.
What, but the reason why I say that is because the handhold was so us. Like, you have that handhold with your child at a certain age, and the handhold with her was my finger, and she would grab a hold like this, and I would wrap the other three fingers around her wrist, and that's how we held hands.
That's how
And
me and my
with
son used to do it.
well, so with I feel a lot of it is like stemming because she would always do this number, and she has autism, so there's things that children do all the time, that they got to keep their hands busy, they got to stay busy. um Me and her mom were talking about this earlier tonight, where I was like, well, maybe she didn't just get it from me. But it's one of those things where it's just kind of, it freaked me out to the point to where I had to stop what I was doing. I looked down, and the handheld lasted for 10 seconds, no less. And we all know that touching is rare. Um, and when I looked down, nobody was there. I had to call her mom, and it was just freaking out. And it's all happened. She was like, "Well, you need to leave. Don't be a dumbass." Um, and so probably the most prominent, I told you the crazy ball story at Waverly, but
Yep.
even with that story, this story was physical touch. Like,
That's
and when someone shakes your hand, you can feel their fingerprints, you can feel the
Mhm.
ridges in their fingers and their hands and everything else, and I felt all of that. um and it damn near sent me into a heart attack.
yeah, and I feel like a lot of investigators out there these days, and I'm not trying to down talk anyone. If you're investigating the paranormal, that's all good and well. But a lot of them are desensitized based off of what you see on, television,
Sure.
right? And
Sure.
when you have a physical touch experience, it's something you cannot explain. And
True.
but it's so common on these television shows that people think they have these occurrences,
Yeah.
but it's probably not. Like
Yeah.
that's my opinion.
I had a question though, Vince. I had gremlins on my end, so I couldn't hear it. Were you live on TikTok with that one? Because I remember I joined one of your lives before her Broadhead, and you paused at one point because you said it felt like your daughter was holding your hand.
Hold on, where was I at?
I don't remember where you were at. When we met at Broadhead, I told you I was drinking whiskey, talking to my friend Tina in the comments. So I don't fully remember, but you paused at one point and you were like, "It felt just like when my daughter would hold my hand," and then you ended
Oh,
your live shortly after.
so I might have just been telling that story.
I think something happened in that location where it reminded you of it. Because
Oh,
one question I wanted to ask you was if you thought you had any sort of abilities, but I guess you kind of touched on that with when you were younger with your imaginary friend.
right. I don't. I have people all the time that tell me I'm like sensitive or that I'm empathic or whatever. I just if that's the case, that's fine. I just choose not to get into it because I don't want no part of anything that will open anything else. I know a lot of people, a lot of
Yeah.
psychics and mediums and stuff. They talk about their third eye and stuff, and I already have the Doctor Strange thing going on. I don't need
Mhm.
to. I don't need to make it happen more.
Hot damn,
Yeah.
that's an answer I would have gave.
Mhm.
But it's not something that I want to choose to get into, though.
That's fair. That's fair. So Vince, you have been to a lot of locations in your time of
Taylor,
travel.
everything okay?
If you had to
Everything
choose
okay?
your top 3 locations you have ever visited,
Mhm.
what would they be?
Um, Waverly, just because it's because I'm biased.
That's fair.
Penhurst State School and Hospital. Um, and this is probably going to sound a little odd to some people, but Randolph County Infirmary.
Oh, that's not odd to me at all. I've heard that place
Um,
is exceptional.
I'll give like a I'll give a an honorary mention to Rhodes Hotel in Atlanta, Indiana. Um, but with Waverly, it's my past, it's my history, it's took 10 years out of my life. 10, 12, whatever. Still taking years away. But Penhurst, I had predominant experiences, and the architecture just makes me. Um, so I usually touch on this at some point in time in every podcast, but I don't talk. I'm not a car guy by any means. I just got a Subaru, so people are calling me a lesbian all the time.
No, you're a lesbian if you own a fucking Prius.
Oh,
No,
gotcha.
it's a whole thing with Subarus. Yeah.
Yeah. So and I really am enjoying the car. It's probably the first car that I've actually gotten that I enjoy and that I'm going to definitely put money into. But I'm not a car guy at all whatsoever. Never have been. Probably never will be. I talk about locations the way that men talk about cars. So if you ever hear me say she's worth it, I'm not talking about Morgan. I'm not talking about my partner. I'm talking about my daughter. I'm talking about whatever location it is. And there's certain locations that just it takes me into an emotional stance. I can walk into a building and I'll replay things in my head that I wasn't ever a part of, obviously.
Mm.
I'll make up
Point.
something. I'll make up something in my head, and for instance, the man who got his head smashed in by the bedpost at Trans Allegheny.
Oh yes.
I played that in my head a million times, And I remember the first time I was there, I sat in that room and cried for I did. Daddy sat and cried like a little girl.
It's okay. It's okay to
Um,
cry.
but I was sitting in there for like 30 minutes and just bawling my eyes out because I couldn't fathom or understand how that would have felt, or what the person was thinking in that moment. Um, at Waverly, I've went in there and talked to people that weren't there about problems. I've bled in that building. I've cried in that building. I remember Molly Stark Sanatorium before it was demoed. I had went in there for the very first time, and I had played a scenario in my head where it was 1950, and the nurse sitting at the nurse's station was sitting there just doing her job, and she looked up because she heard the door open, and there was nobody there when the door opened. And that same night she went home and she told her husband about it. And about an hour later, I walked through that door, not realizing that it was the same door I had had the interpretation in my head about. And I kind of turned around, I looked, and it made the same noise that I had played over in my head. Uh, Needed some WD 40. Um, and I couldn't help but let out like a I know gasp is a little dramatic, but like I let out like a sigh that I couldn't hold back tears from. Um, and um, I don't know, it's feelings and it's emotions, and there's certain things that I can't think about without having those emotions, because Nate, if you were that other guy that I was mad about, I would never wish the worst on you. I just don't want you sitting at my table.
That's fair.
um I would never wish for you to have your head smashed in by a bedpost. I would never wish for you to be neglected in a building that you're supposed to be safe and protected in. I would never wish for uh I would never wish for, if you had a mental illness and you had to be cared for, you had to be bathed, you had to, someone had to someone had to bathe you, someone had to take you to the bathroom when you had to. I would never wish for those things not to happen to you. And walking into these buildings and these places and realizing that all of these things were happening in its time, and nobody could help them. No one could do anything about it. No one was doing anything about it, maybe besides Geraldo Rivera.
Yeah.
Um, and uh, and it's like it's overcoming and it's overwhelming, and you get to a point to where um, you can't believe that somebody would treat somebody like that's somebody's grandma, that's somebody's son, that's somebody's dad, that's somebody's that's somebody's sister, that's somebody's wife, that's somebody's daughter. um
You're no longer
i can't
treating them as a human being.
I just can't fathom it. So whenever I walk into these locations, I think about all those things. And if you talk to anybody that I know, anyone that goes to places with me, anybody that's ever been to a location with me, they'll tell you I disappear for a little while, um, on my own, without people, because I have to take in the location for myself. Um, but I don't know, man. It's one of those things that I can't help but to do when going to a place, and I don't know if that's like a blessing or a curse or whatever. But um, I don't know. It's just wild to me,
So,
I
so
guess.
realistically, it could be a blessing and a curse because
Uh,
you're feeling their emotions, right?
Yeah,
That's the curse. The
yeah.
blessing is you're still continuing on their story.
I don't know if I would see it as a curse. Because when I
yeah.
practice with Nate, I think honestly, I think Nate would have to tell you because I always forget the
Practice
names, but the one
what?
with the bed host, huh? The one with the bedhost. I think we practiced that because
We
I
did.
felt that man what he went through, and it was
Sorry, you
horrific.
practiced what?
And I saw it.
So
I
the way me and Morgan practice is I pick out a random location. I tell her nothing about it. I do historical research. I call her on the phone. I ask her if she's settled and ready to practice. She says yes. I say go. And we have practiced the said location you're talking about. And it
Well,
was
she said
intense.
that y'all practiced the bedpost thing. Y'all both
I
okay,
mean, you know
or
what? We're gonna just gonna keep that in the background. How about that?
no?
But no,
Like,
like
I mean, one of you should realistically be dead if you guys practice that.
no,
I do have a question though.
but she
Mhm.
picked up on the pain in the head. She's like, I don't understand it. Like I feel like there's a pin being driven into my head.
What was it, Sean? I'm sorry.
I said I do have a question for you, Vince.
Mhm.
This seems to be your clairvoyant and empath. You're picking up on some of this stuff when you're going in and being clair audio, being able to see the things that's happened before, and also being empathic, picking up on some of the emotion that's actually gone into it. Wouldn't you think it'd be a little more beneficial to just accept that and start to understand and maybe help those people out more with what's there and the entities?
I so I'm not chalking it up to saying that I am seeing those situations. I'm playing the situations out in my head.
mhm.
I don't know what the wallpaper was in the room. I don't know what the tiles were like. You just know what is there in the time frame. So I'm not saying that I'm seeing it happen. I'm saying that I play it over for myself in my
Okay.
head, like I see with my imagination, I see these two guys holding this guy under this bedpost, and the other one just jumping up and jumping on the bed. It's not that I can see it; it's that I'm imagining it. And it's forceful. I'm doing it like I'm forcefully doing it.
Like it would actually happen.
Mm.
Yes. Um, so whether I'm making an excuse or not. I don't know. I don't know, but it feels to me like I force myself to imagine the situation or whatever situation at any place happening, I guess.
Okay.
Right.
I still think that kind of falls a little bit into being clear audio is the fact that you can actually put that into a visual effect and get it down to the point where it kind of bothers you.
Um, what really bothers me is Casey Anthony being on TikTok.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah. What I was saying before I threw things off with the practicing of the bedroom comment, though, I wouldn't see what you do as a curse necessarily because you're giving more of an understanding to the spirits that are there. Granted, you get the blow of
Right.
visualizing it however you do and feeling it, but you're also
Yeah.
giving them recognition for what they've been through, and they don't always get that when people go and visit.
True.
Oh, I think that I literally I get a lot of people that are like, hey, while you're waiting on the show to come out, you should be filming long form. And I literally spend 8 hours in whatever building on whatever private or whatever public, literally just getting B-roll for reels. And I can do that in like 30 minutes. Take photos for another 30 minutes just to get the content. And then when I'm done with the content, I literally spend the next 7 hours exploring and using my eyes and my ears. I at ISS this past weekend, I think I investigated more in that one night on Saturday than I have done in the last 3 years.
Interesting.
Mm.
So
I don't do a lot of investigating. Most of my investigating comes from when I'm moving, when I'm exploring and things happen and I'm not. I've got the equipment, man. I've got all the REM pods and the
the
music
bells and
boxes and
whistles.
I've got the bells and whistles and stuff. And it's all fine and dandy and it's fun and everything. But having a $400 motion sensor, um, that can be set off by a bug, um,
Yes. Yes.
or you know. And here's the thing too. I don't know if anyone here owns that, but it can be set off by EMF too. I don't know if
It
anyone
can.
realizes that it's not just a motion sensor.
And if
I've
anyone out
literally
there,
held my phone to my music box and it goes off.
and if anyone out
Um,
there owns a motion sensor music box, and you're in a place like, say, you go investigate the USS Salem, it's a battleship. There's a lot of metals. The reverberation can cause that to go off. You don't have to be within motion sensor range.
yeah. So I got all the bells and whistles and all the fun stuff that you see on TV and everything else. I was just like everybody else when all of these different pieces of equipment came out and everything else. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoy it. You know, I have a whole shelf of stuff that I've just set up because I never use it. Um, and it's all just sitting up on the shelf, nice and pretty, and you know, it's all like, oh, hey, we used to use that. But I just rather use my eyes and my ears. And if you listen hard enough, if you look, if you listen hard enough, you know, you tune yourself out, you tune others out, you tune everything else out, and you just listen. A lot of the times, everything will just come to you. You don't have to
And
look
that's
for it.
very, and that's very true. That's very true.
Mhm.
Um,
Vince, I see we have about 2 minutes left, brother. I'm going to ask you one more quick question. We'll keep it brief, and then I have another question that I typically end my podcast off with. Um, you've done a lot of events throughout your years.
yeah,
Who was your favorite person that you've met that you've had the opportunity to work with?
my favorite. What you mean, like in what way and what
As
context?
far as if you were co-leading an investigation,
Mhm.
who was your favorite person to work with?
It's biased. But uh, Shane Pittman has been my homie for like 5 years.
Oh, Shane is awesome.
And you know, and I've done multiple stuff with him. I've led investigations with Shane. Uh, you know, but you know, and that's just me talking about a friend. For people in the comments and stuff, there, you know, it'll be like, oh well, it's investigated with celebrity. I don't look at Shane as a celebrity. I look at him like a friend.
We're all
Um,
people.
and but if I was to be real, if I was to be honest, if I was to be transparent, my favorite people that I have investigated with in my time is the old crew from Waverly. It's Renee, Marty, Taylor, Val, um, AJ. I know none of you really know who these people are, but these are all people, you know, and I don't, and some of them I don't even talk to it, and we don't even talk anymore. Some of us, but and that's not the. I'm missing a whole lot of people here, but the old crew from Waverly, you know, all of us had chemistry for the most part. Everybody was cool. Um, Nicole, there's all kinds of people. David, um, but you know, my favorite person currently is Megan Kelly, and that's not the Fox newscaster. Um, but we just click so well. She's my partner, but we click so well, and we make things happen all the time. And but definitely Megan and all the old people from Waverly and Shane and yeah, it
That's
can't
fair.
never just be a one answer.
No, that's fair. I wasn't looking for a direct answer, but you know what? I'm here for it. So I end my podcast off every night with three typical questions.
Okay.
Number one, a bucket list location you've never been to. Cost was not an option, travel was provided. Where you going?
Winchester Mystery House.
Oh, Winchester. Oh, yes. Take me with you if that ever
Mhm.
happens. Uh,
Right.
Winchester Mystery House. You
Okay.
have one person you can bring with you. They do not have to be involved in the paranormal. They can be alive or dead. Who are you bringing with you?
Megan Kelly,
Okay.
not the newscaster.
No, I know. So we're going to the Winchester Mystery Mansion. You're bringing Megan Kelly. You have one piece of equipment. Your eyes and ears are inherent. You cannot include those. What piece of equipment are you bringing with you?
My SB7 Pro.
SB7 Pro. I love it.
Hold on,
Vince,
honey.
go ahead.
No, you're good.
Oh, well, I want to say thank you so much for coming on the show for an hour tonight.
Mhm.
I really appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind hanging out in the background for just another few minutes, we got one more ad to run. And I have a question that I ask everyone in the post show. And
Okay.
Morgan, thank you so much for co-hosting tonight. I appreciate seeing your beautiful face. And Sean, I appreciate seeing your beautiful face as well. But if you wouldn't mind hanging out in the background, guys, for just a few minutes, and we're gonna close out the show. We got one more small ad to run, and then we'll be done.
Okay.
Thank you for having me on. Sorry, I thought it was going to be dropped instantly.
Oh, I
That's why I
kind
had
of
the
thought you
weird
were too,
pause.
but that's fine. You're still here.
Got
But
a weird law.
everybody, that was another episode of the Paranormal Unveiled here on Wicked Wednesdays. Please be sure to go and check out Christina Bloom's show earlier when she had Glenn Bottas on. Also, I Am Not the Last show for tonight. Twisted Tales with Jeremy Cotter. He is going to be welcoming on my good friend, JD Hill. That is going to be an amazing conversation. JD is so knowledgeable. Like, I love this dude. Like, he is amazing.
It's going to be a great show.
Yeah.
You are not going to want to miss out on that. But everybody out there, thank you so much for tuning in. And I will see you all next Wicked Wednesday. As my guest is, and I haven't changed over my calendar. Wait, did I have another page here? Anyways, oh, I have on Real Ghost Hunter 1, Brandon Kramer, next week. So please tune in for that, and we're going to have a good time. It's going to be a good conversation. Please stay tuned for Jeremy Carter and Twisted Tales with JD Hill, and I'll see y'all next Wednesday. Same spooky time, same spooky network.
Night, everyone.
Have a
Night.
good night.